How do I normally start this? Welcome to the March 20th Stormwater Task Force meeting. You can be here in person or online if nobody's on the Zoom call, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so I call the meeting to order. We don't have any public to comment. So we'll just move on. Board discussions, review of the CEI documents. We've got the new one in front of us. What were we looking at before? There was some confusion in section 2, I believe.
Yep.
I didn't bring my notes with me, so I don't remember exactly what our comments were. Hang on. We have minutes.
I think it was section 3 is the rate structure.
Was it
First
section
paragraph
three?
and section 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
well, I think it was the second paragraph of section 2 too. Like that part in the table didn't jive. Depending on how you interpreted the text,
It is a little
because
different.
he did rewrite it
Yeah.
a lot. There's some different numbers, there's more numbers called out.
Mm. He didn't answer all the questions we had about which properties were, duplexes and such. And then I asked him to change in the alternatives, here's. Other than the single family residential, right? I asked him to change that and he didn't. But he sent me a note saying he was going to. But he didn't. I don't know what's up with that. I'll check in on him.
Wait, are we looking at the table in section 3?
Table 3.
Yeah. Cause it is different.
And we have 11 more properties.
Yeah, the only
Wow.
difference is the number of properties.
And then tax exempt or 100% pervious is new.
Yeah, the properties went up, right?
Yeah,
The changes are increases.
But tax exempt or 100% pervious is 607. And then on the last one, tax exempt, but doesn't say pervious, is 41. I guess fee exempt, it looks like you put those two together. Fee exempt and tax exempt.
Wait, which one,
Yeah.
which one? are you
Yeah,
looking at?
So what used to be tax exempt and 100%
Oh, I'm in the wrong
impervious
table.
has been split into two different classifications.
I'm guessing fee exempt is pervious. Or 100% pervious.
That makes sense.
which,
489 have no impervious area. 11 are either water or rights of way, and 4 are classified as forested. 77 are municipally owned, so they're exempt. So we picked up, in this table, we picked up 11 properties. In table 2-1, the total.
Yeah, the recreational.
I don't know where they came from.
Yeah.
But we got 11. See. Wow. Bacon, oh, there,
The forest has been split off from somewhere.
he got rid of
yeah,
forest.
took that out.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm looking at these backwards.
Took off forest and this, yeah, that, 100% 100% pervious is. Should be 489 plus the tax exempt.
30.
This is the last again.
I think the total properties have changed, but the total properties that we could actually collect from, I think haven't changed. Is that right?
It seems pretty similar.
The water rights of way would be exempt, right?
Yes.
So that is 11 plus 77 municipally owned, so we're up to 88. And the 4 forested, it's 92. Right? And, but, you know, 581, still missing some. I don't know. I tried.
What was the position we came to for tax exempt? Like the idea is they still pay utilities for like
Yeah.
water and sewer, so
Yeah.
they would consider that
Yeah.
they still pay.
I
Yeah.
think it's crazy, no, it's honestly.
And then also I looked up a lot of other towns do
Yeah.
charge
Yes.
tax exempt
Yeah.
properties for utilities.
But we were thinking of kind of looking at table 3.1 and the 4 alternatives, using one alternative for like single multifamily and then different alternatives for the other tier,
Yes.
as you go up,
Yes, that's
okay,
exactly right.
okay, good. So he didn't necessarily have to change this table, cause we could pick from this table to
Yes.
build
Yes.
a
Yes.
plan, right?
I suppose depending on where like we decide to put the line, like the further along we put it, like. It could still be favorable to small businesses if we move it to say like 4 or 5 being the tier cutoff or. Whether we go up further.
What are we trying to hit for total collected?
I don't remember.
It's a good question. We debated that. I think Bill's original budget was like
A
over 1 million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna fall a bit short of that, but not much, like I can't remember what the number was. Was it 800 or 900,000?
I think
remember.
through
You were gonna
this,
put a spreadsheet together, Bill. I had all that information in it.
I can call it up. I got it.
Yes,
Maybe not.
I think through this, if we just split it to residential and non-residential, I think we came up at like. Just shy of 600,000. But I'm trying to pull that from memory.
Yeah, I wish I had my, cause I think I
Yeah, we
scribbled
need the
stuff.
spreadsheet. This is
on the other
it's time to
document.
create a spreadsheet. The time has come.
It's up
Yeah, is
there
it
on the
up?
screen. Yeah, the rough budget was 1 million, right?
Yes.
Some of it we were gonna cover with chapter 9.
Yes. Chapter 90. So between the residential, the commercial, chapter 90, it's gonna add up to a number.
Yeah, we didn't quite make a million, right? But
No.
it was pretty good.
You wanna create a new sheet on your spreadsheet that includes the income?
We do that. Mhm.
You need to calculate the residential and the commercial and the
Yeah,
chapter 90.
We're becoming very dependent on chapter 90 these days.
yeah,
Makes me nervous.
right, could go somewhere else. We almost had to use it somewhere else, right?
Yep. Picked up quite a few of the non-residential tier 1 properties. Picked up 13, picked up 7. Yeah, okay, so these totals did go up a bit. So I think we settled on single and multifamily residential would be tier 1. Was that, the $60 a year?
That was, yes, that for sure.
15 a quarter.
I don't remember if we agreed that multifamilies should be treated as one equivalent residential unit or not.
Well, no, they're treated as two.
Multifamilies are treated as two. What if it's a 10 multifamily?
I don't know, according to what we've got.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning here, it's listed as just being two.
I'm kind of in the frame of mind where if you own a piece of property and live in the town, you should pay this fee.
Sure.
Cause it pays for street sweeping, does it pay for the salt in the winter?
No,
Oh, it doesn't pay for the salt. But it pays for cleaning the catch basins and the street sweeping. And any reconstruction you have to do in response to of weather events.
right,
Okay, and you have to,
Culverts.
and the bookkeeping and the reporting
Right.
to the government.
some of the culverts, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, there's a lot that's
Yeah.
really town-wide. It's not property specific, resident specific. This is really a town thing that we're trying to.
Yeah, true, yes.
And anybody that lives in the town benefits from having pavement that doesn't crumble, because when it rains, it gets wet underneath and the foundation of the road deteriorates and they have to reconstruct it. So it is a town-wide thing. You wanna get to Walmart, you gotta go in the towns, right? And all this infrastructure is used to maintain the roads in the town so that people can get around.
and MS4
That's how I feel. about it.
compliance.
Yeah. I kind of feel everybody in town, if you own property and you live in the town, you should pay this basic fee. And we really whittled it down to a small number, like $5 a month. It's almost a cup of coffee, right? I know you can't stand when I say that, but it kind of is. So I'm in the frame of mind that would be my recommendation, is to everybody that lives in town's property should contribute to the maintenance of the whole infrastructure and the whole system.
I didn't see it in here. Did we get an answer on condos? Are they just treated as,
Yeah, he didn't get that deep. You know, I asked the questions, I didn't get the answer, but I can follow up with that again.
Yeah,
because technically they're residential, but we would expect them to be treated as based upon their impervious area.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like
it depends.
it would be based on the impervious area, but then also we just have this list. But then we have this.
Yeah.
We have,
Which one is it?
we have different, well, condos or like
Sorry,
own or rental?
Like arrive.
Okay,
Sorry, that's what I
Yeah.
meant.
okay, I don't know, cause that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
Thrive is huge.
Yeah,
Thrive is
want-
like bigger than
You wanna
Walmart.
try
Yeah.
populating a spreadsheet with some numbers, see what we come up with? So right here in next, table, it has a residential line item. And it's based on 3,593 properties at $60 per year. And the equivalent residential unit rate of 1 per property is 215,580. And he has a non-residential sum of, I'm sorry, multifamily residential sum of 22,200. So the total is 179,820 for the two. Okay, and that was alternative one at $60 per ERU. Now, we had discussed actually using one of the alternatives for the commercial properties. And the non-residential sum for alternative 4? Which alternative we want?
Yeah, as if we were betting what, or looking at what our largest budget is.
That would be 299,700. So we've got 3 line items so far, 215,580 for the residential, 22,200 for the multifamily, and 299,700 for the commercial. And then if you add another line item for chapter 90, you need to fill in that number, Bill. So 215,
Yeah.
580, and another multifamily would be 22,200.
What was the second one? 5?
Okay, so which one, okay, so the first line item is residential,
Yeah,
okay? Did you want to put residential there someplace?
yeah. That was the 250.
Yeah,
Yeah,
single.
and the next line item I have is multifamily, which is 22,200. 22,200.
Game is back. Please going.
Put it on the spot. No pressure.
537,000.
22,200. Right?
Yep.
Wow, it's a
No
big number,
five.
Bill. They're gonna complain.
Oh, what did I do?
There's a 522,000.
The 50?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
that's good enough. Okay, commercial.
Oh, yeah, there.
Yeah,
So the commercial
that's
is
tier 4.
non-residential sum. Total tier 4,
Mhm.
299,700.
So
And chapter 90.
500,000 right there.
I don't know what your chapter 90 number is, because I know you have to spread that across
Yeah.
different, um, different, purposes.
Where's my chapter 90 plan? See if I can find it.
Just out of curiosity, how much time do you spend in the office doing all this bookkeeping and spreadsheeting?
Far too much. Far too much time. So. Like this 26, I kind of got programmed. I got a lot
Holy cannoli.
for drainage. I got 975,000, which,
That's what you had budgeted?
but then going out at 500,000, 275.
Did I say
That-
drainage at
I
32
keep that.
Hemlock by the song?
Okay, so
Yeah.
you've got a balance in there, which is going into the year, you got,
Yeah. 400,
so you have a respectable
400.
balance to start with.
You'd probably say 400, that's kind of what I got going out. I
Alright,
just kind of front loaded because I got a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
that's not bad. We're looking at like
And that gets you to
940,000.
I know.
Yeah,
And so that's kind of sort of what I remember.
Are you factoring the increased chapter 90?
no,
Ah,
no, so we got.
It's not a paycheck until you get it, you.
Yeah. Yeah, is that a one-time deal or is it go forward?
it's the bond is for a multi-year. I thought it was a 5-year bond. Shoot, the governor is going for it.
Yeah. Time will tell. I just put in where we've been getting for the past 10 years, like 400.
That's a respectable number, so that's not too far off from the original.
Yeah,
That's only like 15% less than what you
Yeah.
asked for, less than that.
That's
Yeah.
all, essentially, all the chapter 90 go into stormwater. 400,000.
I mean, right now we have a bunch of chapter 90 money, right? So I spread it out, but
It's,
you know, 5 years
yeah.
from now, if we just keep getting the 400,000, it's all going here.
okay,
But
so you have
but it
enough
won't go here.
now
We're gonna have to spread it around.
to spread out and cover non-stormwater related chapter
Paving,
90 stuff,
Yeah, paving.
yeah. Well, no, paving plan is separate though, right? We're keeping the paving management plan.
Right.
Vehicles. We bought with chapter 90,
Certain ones.
yeah.
Yeah, were you gonna, had you proposed to buy the vehicle? Lump sum, or were you gonna actually, gonna spread it out over time with loans?
Good question. I didn't get that far.
Okay, so what was didn't you have a plan that included what you wanted to buy for vehicles?
Yeah,
There you go, 1 ton dump truck. So are you gonna buy that? In year one, are you gonna spend $75,000 on a 1 ton dump truck?
Is that the one on the capital plan for this year?
No.
Okay,
That's $225,000.
yeah, with different equipment.
Yeah, so would that be a one-time expense, or would that be something that's spread out over 6 years?
Probably one time. Of course, probably won't get it all in the first year. And we
Okay.
won't have the money.
Okay, so that would get distributed across
Yeah.
several years, just because
Yeah,
you're not gonna make that kind of an outlay.
right.
And that's all personnel, so there's no equipment there. Vendors, that's an annual fee. Upgrades, that's your projects, and then you do that like one big project and 2 small projects every year. Accounting, treasurer, liability, expenses. Postage.
That's what we have to pay.
Okay, so your equipment is at the very top, and that was pretty much established. Okay, so if you just spread that out over a couple of years, then your 1097 or what it was at the bottom would come down a little bit.
Yeah.
1098. I can see you working with that budget.
Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
So I got now, for this type of work, so yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, how much of a burden will alternative 4 be on some of these non-residential properties? Who are we,
That's a good question.
that was a
what I
question we
was
had,
wondering.
who's in
Yeah,
these tiers?
like, if we wanna be more favorable to, say, smaller businesses, do we like shift it down so that that alternative 4 only starts at like tier 4 or something?
Yeah,
It's not that much money, right?
$10,000 a year? For who, the
But-
5 people that are tier 10,
Yeah,
Okay,
we could probably guess who they are.
yeah.
some of them are really big establishments.
Yeah.
They
I
have
know,
a lot of-
well, if they're in tier 10 and have that much,
They create a lot.
you're, you know. I still would like to understand how where they fall in here,
Yeah.
'Cause that's-
Them again. Yeah, it's frustrating.
that's gotta have a lot of. Impervious,
It's almost all
And-
impervious surface, really.
Yeah.
yeah,
all the
parking
roofs and the
and
parking.
those buildings are huge,
Yeah, parking and buildings.
and there's a lot of units in there,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, so they probably fall into that last category.
maybe they do.
They've got to. It's probably them, Walmart.
But he calls it
Mhm.
non-residential, that's a weird thing. I mean, people
Yeah.
are living there, but they don't own,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
So which property you're talking about?
They arrive,
Hmm.
the complex across on Electric Ave, but in Lake
One on
Willow.
Malum.
Again, I'm in the frame of mind, if they own property and live in the
Well,
town, they should pay.
It's the property owner, they rent, it's all renters,
Oh,
yeah,
We're just trying to determine like, are they a
are they
multifamily
paying?
or are they?
They shouldn't be
tier 10?
paying
60 per
180,
unit.
or
60 per unit.
120 a year. Each unit,
Well,
that's not fair either.
each,
Oh,
well, kinda, like I
I
said, this
mean-
is about the town and.
What my expectation, what I would assume it is that they would count, like, if they're hit size, then it would be tier 10. So it would be $10,000 across.
All of the units, the
Everybody
property
live
owner
there.
just,
Yeah.
is imagine gonna put it into their rent, but. I'd like to know,
Yeah.
It's where they are, where-
does it fall
and
in
who else,
multifamily?
who else would fall into that cat?
The other apartments down
Yeah.
on Whalen.
the ones behind
What
Yeah,
is
what-
the Italian restaurant. Well,
I don't
like,
know the name.
there's a little road that goes back there.
Oh, that's been in front of planning board a lot lately?
I'm
It's,
sorry, I was
there's
thinking
like a
about something
basketball court in front of it.
What's
I
that?
don't know
road
what it's
called?
called.
Behind Del Forno?
Yeah, behind the
Oh,
corner.
Pierce or.
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah,
It starts with a
that's pretty
P, I
big
know.
too, and also mostly parking lot and buildings, so.
Sure.
I'm good with the single and multifamily, alternative one,
Yeah,
and I'm good with the alternative four for the non-residential, but I wanna make sure that some of these big complexes fall in one of these higher tiers.
yeah.
And I don't know if you called it out.
Not that I saw.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All multifamily regardless of the number of units.
Yeah. Like, if it's, the way that it works in my head is that when you're talking about a multifamily, you're talking about one
And how
house
many units
That's
there
what
are,
I-
that is
and what
larger
site?
than a regular
They
single
do.
family.
Like half a double, I grew up in half a,
Yeah,
they would,
Good reviews.
oh yeah, what is it? So yeah, a duplex would
So-
count as,
He gave me some notes, right? Large condos, apartments, et cetera, are all grouped as multifamily in the GIS, so Arrive would be in multifamily, so they're not paying.
so the whole Arrive complex is built 128. That can't be,
That doesn't,
that throws these numbers,
Yeah, so it says, we'll tease out these larger developments, so they pay their fair share,
okay,
but that'll have to be done manually. So he just went on
Mm-hmm.
GIS and showed the multifamily.
gotcha.
so these
Alright,
numbers would
so-
change a lot.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah, so that's gonna go up.
So she's trying to figure out how many units are in a row.
so just
these ones I
moving,
think have 3 floors, but
just moving Arrive would add $10,000 to our total currently. I'm assuming it's tier 10, just based upon its size.
10,000 seems low.
If you
We're
for
gonna
treat it as sort of,
individual,
opinion, but-
right?
yeah,
Each condo individual.
my argument is it's
Yeah.
True.
it's residential, people living there, that's where they live. You know, Julie.
And they really benefit from stormwater
They do.
protections
Everybody does.
because they live on Lake Whalen.
Mhm.
And that's, one of the places that stormwater really affects.
You're trying to find the number of units?
No, I was actually gonna look at the deed.
She's looking for deeds, If they were treated as commercial, we put them in tier 10, they have 160 units, it comes up to be $5 per unit.
Alright,
That's nothing.
apartment complex
That's
is
a cup of
considered
coffee,
commercial.
John.
I mean, it's residential zoning, but it's a business.
I'm not sure.
Bloomberg.com.
Was Arrive just built in 2014?
Yeah, it's not that old. Deed,
Yeah,
grant of easement,
that's an easement for Comcast,
legal
it looks like.
description, no, legal description is.
It looks like they're just allowing Comcast in.
Okay,
It's tough with stuff like this because it's usually under a different address than the address that it has now. You have to
See
find an
deed.
address in the deed.
What does it say? See deed in book what? Scroll down, there's a handwritten note.
In book 6152, 289. Yeah, if I say it out loud, I usually remember it.
Very good.
So. Willem Park Amusement was the guarantor. This was 2006. Willem went out of business in 2001, right? Twenty acres.
Did you say there was 167 apartments in,
I found something that
right.
says 190 units.
That sounds about right, because the front are 3 stories
Yeah.
and those are all apartments. And then the ones in the back that are kind of near the water are just 4 each. But the big buildings are 3 floors.
So where'd you get 190 from?
From some Google search that's describing
Yeah,
some
I'm
corporate
looking-
housing website, so I don't know if
I'm
it's
kind of looking
true.
at it too.
so that would
That
make,
sounds about right,
if,
but
if they were being charged the $15 per quarter, that would be $11,400
At 190,
at 190 apartments, yeah.
yeah, if you, yeah,
At
it's almost 10,000.
167 apartments, it was almost 10,000 on the money.
Yes, around the money.
I thought on their like website, it would say how many apartments in the like a description of the complex. It's basic, but I'm not finding it. And even Google AI is failing, see?
Google AI is terrible. It's taking from,
Usually that's the first thing that pops up. I'm not even getting that. I don't like AI in general.
I don't think anybody does.
Oh,
Well, some people do.
do.
I get a lot of emails now, and it's clear that somebody just had AI write them,
Yeah.
and they're so bad.
Yes. It's not even listed on their FAQ, like there's just nothing.
They might wanna hide it, cause I mean, you don't wanna see how many neighbors you're gonna have, I feel like. They're not like advertising how many units they have.
2 bedroom, 1.5 bath, 3125.
Yeah, the rent's like 3,000.
Yeah, ain't cheap.
No, I don't know how people afford it.
I think it's cause you get they get the private beach, I think that's what they're charging. And it's not really private, but you get to go, they have the kayaks there and stuff, and that's there, like it could be
That's
expensive.
expensive rent.
It is.
Right. So if we do that. We, with staying with alternative 4, that number would likely go up. Or we may be able to get at the target number by going to a alternative 3,
Sure.
depending on,
So you're saying instead of being equivalent to 2 residential units, we're treated as tier 10.
I think there's 2 options. Each unit is treated as a single residence.
Yeah.
Or it goes to whatever the appropriate tier is, which I'm guessing would be,
It sounds like it'd be
Tier
almost
10.
the same.
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
the same. I like it. All right, makes sense.
Honestly. Arrive, well, no, maybe not. Yeah, it seems pretty equivalent with like Walmart in terms of impervious area or that plaza at least.
the difference is that Plaza has many businesses, yeah.
Sure. Oh, sure, so that's not just
No.
Walmart fitting that $10,000 bill, is it?
Mm-mm.
Right,
It's Hannaford,
Whoever
it's the
leases the
smaller
building.
one.
Is there a company that owns that whole complex and Walmart rents
I
space
wanna
with
say
them?
it's like RK something,
Probably.
It probably is,
they
yeah,
own most of the,
just like on the other side of what, of 2A, there's the way the Asian Imperial is, and then there's the
oh,
other one,
yeah,
yeah.
it's tough and.
Mackey's has a big footprint. I mean, there's quite a few.
Yeah,
So is Nick gonna give us all the information associated with each of these commercial properties and how much impervious area they have? How do we get that?
Must have
information?
something, right,
Yeah,
some kind of spreadsheet
Like
to
maybe
narrow it down to this.
yeah,
they do
Yeah.
tiers 5 through 10.
Mhm.
It's maybe what, under 100 properties, right?
um.
Oh, it's a little over 100.
I think I did 107, but there was a
Yeah.
quick addition in my head.
Yeah, it's a little over 100 for 5 through 10. I mean, if we'd said 6 through 10, that's, I think, a doable number to find out what they are.
Yeah.
He probably has them, because he had to total it.
Right,
Yep. You wanna ping him and ask him for that information?
I will do that.
And
Okay.
confirm if Arrive is really just being, would fall into the multifamily and get 120.
Yeah, based on
That's-
this note, what it sounds like, but then he
That's
says
nuts.
we're gonna. Right. He says we'll have to tease it out of these larger developments, so they pay
okay.
their fish, yeah.
Yeah, ask him to tease it out.
Yeah.
I mean, we could tell him what we're thinking. See what he thinks about the. I mean, again, other towns must have done this. And he's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of towns have done this.
Yeah, so there's gotta be some kind of model or precedent out there. We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
I agree. I don't know how he surveys these properties for impervious area, by the way, I have no clue. Someone must have inspected them and surveyed them.
Is it
He said he would put it on.
The
Mass
drone
GIS
can-
database?
Read layers too, like when the drones fly, not that he's flying a drone over the whole town, but there's like databases of people flying the drones, and the drones can pick up like what kind of surface it is. They actually use drones to like measure the materials at my work.
Cause he says all properties fall into a specific GIS based land use type category. I mean, I've gone into GIS, but I haven't looked for that. Might be something in there. E284 subject to stormwater utility. I don't know if it's up.
So Shrewsbury charges 90 for a single family,
Hmm.
200 for a 2-unit. But it goes less than 5,000 impervious. Is 90, 5,000 and 10,000 is 200. Greater than 10,000 is 325. Then they max out at 7,500.
But they have a lot more properties though.
Yeah,
You know what is this vacant?
that's gotta be like 390 Howard maybe.
Is there impervious? Is it undeveloped land? There's no impervious.
Well, 390 Howard is all pervious. It's all just mud.
That's, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. If it's a vacant, undeveloped land,
Yeah, so I think that they're considering that not chargeable, right? Isn't that, did that go under
there's
not
two
chargeable?
hundred and 57 in the vacant
Oh,
category.
that's, okay, that's
That's-
the exempt.
A lot.
Oh, that could be the house next to me. Which
Vacant,
is,
you mean properties, residences where people aren't living there, or vacant lots.
I don't know. It just says vacant. Doesn't
I'm
it just,
assuming vacant means there's no house or structure.
so then should they be charged? Because is there any impervious?
Kind of not, because nobody's residing there.
Right.
but also it's 100% pervious, right?
If
If
it's
it's vacant,
if it's 100% pervious, then yeah, you gotta.
but then you would think it would be under fee
There's nobody that
exempt.
lives there, nobody has to use the town roads,
Yeah,
Right.
and the water is getting into the water table, it's not running off into the streets.
Because. So, because he says, in the end, it results in a total of 4,284 properties subject to stormwater utility fees. That number
includes vacant.
is from table 2-1, yes, includes everything but the fee exempt, includes vacant.
Yeah,
Sorry, say that again.
So he says that after he goes through the impervious, the municipal buildings, blah, 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 you're left with a total of 4,284 properties that are subject to the stormwater utility. 4284. Then if you look at table 2-1, you see, okay, the number here is 4865. If you take away the fee exempt, that gets you the 4,284,
Okay,
which means it includes those 257 vacant. And I'm not sure all 257 vacant actually have impervious.
okay.
That's a
that may
lot of
be,
vacant.
yeah.
Well, why,
There may be some teasing to do there.
so these abandoned properties, are they, what is it?
He doesn't say, I don't know. So I think we need to understand
Yeah,
what's in
yeah,
the
now we're
vacant.
starting to drill down deep, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah, but-
superficial, now we're starting to like,
But we're kind of there, right?
yeah, we went from hundreds of thousands of dollars, now we're looking at tens of thousands of dollars.
I mean, people are gonna ask.
Yeah.
If they own that vacant, why, wait a minute, I've got this, vacant lot that I just haven't built on yet, why am I paying? It's
I'm
just
still in the
free.
frame of mind, if there's no residents and no one lives there, we don't bother. Unless there's a compelling reason, like you said, a lot of impervious area in the properties.
Well, he already called out, he already subtracted out ones that say 489 properties have no impervious area. We have to be consistent. If we're gonna call out those and there happen to be some vacant with no impervious, those should be called out too.
Okay,
We have to be consistent. Either if you own property, whether there's impervious or not, you're paying. Or we're
so you're
gonna,
saying there's a subset of those properties that.
I don't know, I wanna know. These 257 vacant, do they actually have impervious surface? What are they? What are those properties?
Okay, so that's one you wanna drill down, I wanna drill down
Yeah.
the fee exempt,
Be exempt, so 581,
that's a
He-
lot.
so. I think that comes from the 489 that have no impervious area, so let's
Yeah.
add it up, 489. There are 11 that are either water or rights of way,
Mhm.
There's 500.
4 are classified as forested, which I'm not
Oh,
sure.
here we go.
It's 77 municipal. What does that get us to?
Over
577,
581.
577,
you're 4 short,
4 short or
the
the
forest,
the forested, yes.
okay, so it includes 4 categories.
It's these that he explains in the text. And And then that leaves us with 4,284. And I'll come back to the vacant.
So a quick tangent here. I finally found an app that did what I wanted, that I can measure areas. According to this, the Walmart Plaza is 763,000 square feet. So it's like 3.5 times
Right,
where our system caps out at
is
210,000.
crazy, I think.
Yeah.
Is that the building footprint,
No, that's
That's the
the
whole
entire
complex.
parking lot.
the parking lot
Yeah,
too?
Walmart, Hannaford's, everything.
Interesting, it's 1,000,000 square feet. 1,000 by 1,000, does it seem like it's 1,000 by 1,000? I guess it does.
Perimeter
It's pretty
of,
big,
It's pretty big.
There's
and
also
plus
the
it's a
back,
long
too.
drive, yeah.
like where trucks park to drop stuff off and,
Yeah, okay, excellent.
Pretty big.
it's a big building too. And the parking lot is huge, and then there's
Yep.
the parking in the front, the place in the front where you drive out.
Yep, parking along the side.
Yeah, it's very big. And also it's a hill, so it's just dropping all that water down the hill into the road.
Yeah.
They do have some stormwater stuff there, I think, but it doesn't look like it's really maintained.
Looks like it's owned by one entity.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
okay,
for
Duh.
comparison,
and fee spread they
The-
throw it across all the businesses there.
the Unitil facility is
Central.
204,000 square feet.
Yeah,
the River
crossing.
Just
Yeah.
the like Unitil parking lot.
Oh, I forgot about
Yes.
Unitil.
Is that the one on
It's
Electric
tier 10,
Avenue?
yeah.
Or Route 13?
Yeah.
Let's charge them some money.
Okay.
According to this, they'd fit into tier 10, so we gotta charge them the whole shebang.
Yeah. I think that there should
I'm
be
not really happy about the tap.
a tier that's above, that should be like 200 to 500 or 500 to a million square feet, because
We need a tier 11.
like a tier. Wait, where am I? Like a tier 11, 12, and 13, I guess, or just a tier 11 for anything over 500,000 or something.
So remind me, how's ERU calculated?
Oh, he explained it.
first page.
Yeah, I think it's,
Equivalent residential,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, the first paragraph in
Yeah.
section 2. Standardized unit of measurements that you use to equate non-residential properties for multifamily, specific numbers of single family.
So,
ERU is generally considered typical impervious area to single family residence.
so how do we correlate this ERU scale for the different tiers to the impervious square footage? Because if in this tier 10, if that impervious square footage ranges from 100,000 to 1,000,000 square feet, that
Mhm.
needs to be broken out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Cause that's not in here, right? Like it's related to the square footage, but there's no math to
It says
say.
what the impervious area is. What is the median impervious area? I saw here something.
So I think the single family is 4,200, is that right?
Yeah, table 3.3.
Table 3.
Ah, oh, there it is. I just didn't get far
Okay,
enough. So
there
it
you go.
does, so it's, oh, wow. So it caps
Yeah.
at 210,000.
So that's,
Right.
that's
And then it just
420,000 square feet.
Which is crazy.
One half of.
So that
Walmart.
complex
That's,
is almost 5
3.5
times.
times.
yeah, it's less than a
Yeah.
third of Walmart.
Well,
Oh, 3
one
times.
hundred
or
times,
700.
100 times 4,000 is 420,000. And then just said it's 763, so it's not quite twice as much.
Well, 763 is more than triple tier 10.
Yeah. It's like 3.5 times.
Yeah,
Tier 10.
Are you sure?
yeah,
Well,
cause tier
tier 10
10
is
capped at 210.
210,000. Anything greater, anything over 210,000
But that's,
is capped.
All
at
goes into the
210,000.
same tier 10.
that's the 50, right, but, no, right, that's the 51 times the 4,200, right? That's where that comes from. So you're right, there's a range from 51 to 100, which composes the tier 10, right?
So maybe we need more tiers to capture those,
Yeah,
you know, more than 400,000 square feet, more than 800,000 square feet, if we have any, do we have any of
Yeah.
those? I don't even know.
This
Cause
is,
210,000 square feet is,
this
many
is kind of sort of
acres?
what. You guys wanna learn some engineering lingo?
4 acres.
This
I
is a
don't know.
logarithmic scale. So basically, he's
What are
going
you
at
looking at?
the stormwater utility, so ERU range. So he's bumping it up another tier. When you get to the upper tiers, if you look at it, you cut 51 to 100 in half, you get 26 to 50. So, and you cut
Yeah.
that in half, you get a number like, which should be
Yeah.
13 to
Yeah.
25. You kind of cut that in half, you cut that in half. That's kind of what he's doing
Yeah,
until you get to the lower tiers.
yeah,
So he's, when he gets to the upper tiers, he doesn't break it up into a linear scale, it's an exponential scale. So that he doesn't have to have 1,000 tiers.
no, that makes sense, but I'm saying like,
So
we know.
it looks like Walmart is getting a bargain because they're
Right.
per.
Yeah.
They're equivalent, yeah, they're paying less per ERU, is what I'm saying, because they have so much area and they're in this really high end of.
I mean, we could put a tier 11, we could say tier 10 goes up to 400,000, tier
Yeah.
11's 400,000 to
Yeah,
800, I don't know, 700, I
I
mean,
think what you're kind of suggesting is you can base it on an ERU. So if you take 763 divided by an ERU, see how many equivalent ERUs that is, and charge them that much. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that on purpose. I'm not so sure why.
well, I think we
Hmm.
could convert this impervious
But I'm
area
gonna take
color.
back what I just said. Actually, when you go from tier 9 to tier 10, he doubles the tier price. So he is doing that. It is on a per ERU basis. Going from 8 to 9, he doubles it. Going from 7 to 8, he's going from 1,525. It is. From what I can tell, this is, yeah. Yeah, he's kind of doing that. That's exactly what he's doing.
It's not quite doubled every tier, but it's
Well,
close.
here's another way of looking at it. So one residential property tier 1, $100. 2, $200. 3, $300. 4, $400. 10, $1,000. 10, 100, $10,000. It's $100 per ERU. In alternative 4. So it is linear. But
I'm
but the
looking at-
tiers are non-linear. So he's charging them a lump sum based on their ERU range, if they fit inside that range.
That's fine, but
Could-
we have one that
You
are,
could dissect this and you could say, well, look, Walmart say that they're at 55 and they don't want to pay $10,000. Then you could basically break it out on per.
Well, but on
basis.
the scale we've got based upon table 3.3, Walmart's at
They're right in the middle.
ERU,
that complex, so the owner of
Yeah.
all of that property
yeah,
would fall into, I think, a tier 12,
yeah,
and then it would be, you know, then it's up to the property owner to say how he distributes that bill based on, you know, Walmart's bigger than, I forget who's in there.
Hannaford's.
Oh, I know Hannaford's, but GameStop, okay, so Hannaford's
Pets World.
is gonna have to pay, should pay a lot more than GameStop.
Create a tier 11, which is basically anything over 100.
I'm looking at table 3.3 impervious area,
Yeah.
and I just heard that complex is 700 something thousand square feet.
Yes, yeah,
Most of that is impervious area.
yes.
I think we need like, so this is capped at 210,000. If that went up to, let's say, 400,000 for
Yeah.
tier 10.
Yeah.
Tier 11 starts at 400,001 and
yeah,
go,
to 700,000.
is that enough, greater than 400,000, or is there another tier 12? What cap do we put? And I think that's determined by what does our property like?
Yeah, I say if we look at,
What does Keating
what's the
have?
difference between, yeah, Keating is a lot of pervious though, I feel like,
It might be.
yeah. They don't have a lot
How?
of buildings, it's mostly, you know, they have the equipment, but it's mostly mud, and gravel there. Same thing with Powell, they have the building, but I think a lot of the yard,
They have a huge yard.
yeah, but that's pervious.
Address, yes, it is. If I remember correctly, it is. Might be wrong, might be gravel.
We're not gonna be able to capture
Right.
every inch, but
But for something like would it be fair for a Walmart to pay the same as not the Walmart, but whoever owns that building,
Yeah,
as something that's a third of its size. That doesn't
No,
really make any
no,
sense.
it's
No.
not, right?
And where Walmart is at 700, over
Well, that
almost
whole
800,000.
complex, so the owner.
Yeah, we just
of that-
call it Walmart.
Yeah, okay,
Walmart Mountain.
yeah,
Yeah, so where that whole plaza is almost 800,000, I don't even think it would make sense to have something that's 350,000 pay the same as that.
I
It would
agree.
have to be, or even 450,000.
I think we need more tiers.
Yeah,
To capture these big,
The biggest, yeah.
yeah.
so what were you saying, 4 acres, Jenny, what's 4 acres?
Oh, I was saying that 210,000 square feet is 4.8 acres.
Okay,
So that doesn't. I mean, the difference between, wait, hold on, was it 4.8 acres? Does that sound right to you?
That sounds
I
right.
Yeah.
have no.
So I was
idea.
saying like the difference between, we're talking like 4 times the size of that. That's a huge difference. So it just didn't make sense for me to say that they should be paying the same amount as somebody who's much
Mhm,
larger than that.
mhm.
So for just the paved area of like Central Mass Garden just here is like 160,000.
Wow,
Wow.
I have no concept
No.
of square footage, none.
This is.
I think a lot of that area is gravel. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
they're gonna
maybe.
be,
It's hard to
they're gonna be
tell
mostly
from here.
pervious. It's just they have the building. And then everything else out there is like grass.
You're right.
And tables,
Probably because it's gravel, it looks the same as pavement from here.
right?
Is there a layer or category in GIS with impervious? How does he get this
I don't know.
information?
Will come up.
So,
Central Mass Gardens total land area is 15 acres. Most of it's probably untouched.
it's, mm, so the one is about the vacant. 2 is arrive. The other question is adding tiers
Yeah,
at the upper end.
what's in that pond? What do you think they use that for?
that's a retention pond. I
Yeah.
think that's water.
Those have used that to supply water for their irrigation for
Yeah.
their plants.
Typically. That's what nurseries do.
That's a smart idea.
They'd have huge water bills. If they didn't.
In case anybody wants to poke around on their own, if you've got an iPhone, the app is called Field Calc.
It's free.
It has an option to be free, which is
Does it
just,
still, does the free
Yeah,
version
right.
work?
yes, that's the one I'm using
Okay,
here.
all right.
It just said, I marked it that like, I don't know what this app is, I'm just trying it out, and it didn't ask me for a credit card or anything, so. GPS area measure.
The big solar farm.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one right behind it too.
Yeah, honestly, Renee, we really don't need Nick to answer the question if we can add more tiers, because you can see the pattern.
But I think we wanna, yeah, I think we wanna add tiers,
Okay,
right?
looking at, okay, we have a tier 11, tier 12. And that'll cover Walmart.
I think what we don't know is how many properties are in his tier 10 right now. There's 5.
5.
Fine.
So it's gotta be Walmart, but not, we don't know if it's arrived.
Like, what's the
Yeah.
span of those five in that category? There could be fourfold difference in the impervious area in that one tier, and I don't think that's fair.
And I can't really calculate arrive on this because it's an interspersed of like buildings, pavement and grass. So I can't just circle the whole thing.
There's something called ARC GIS that might have something about.
I think, are they just the competitor for Access GIS?
I have no idea. I'm Googling. Learn ARC GIS, calculate impervious surfaces from spectral imagery. I guess that's
what
not
Nick's
free.
using Is ArcGIS, I think it's,
Is it ARC?
Yeah,
Okay, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
free.
it's not.
Oh, of course
They
not.
might have a free version.
They probably have a professional subscription kind of thing. So I think do we add tier 11 or tier 11 and
Your
12?
argument's pretty compelling, I mean, Walmart blows tier 10 out of the water, so. Just makes sense to have tier 11, you know.
At least.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the tier 12 is a question in my mind.
You said.
Cause I actually wonder if Arrive falls into that category.
Sure.
They're not all impervious. There's a lot of grass, that's all I'm saying. So
There's a lot of
my hunch is it
building,
would
though.
not
Wait, who are we talking about?
Arrive.
arrive.
If they're in, they might be in 10 currently, and they may stay in 10, even if we add. Well, I don't think Nick put them in 10.
We should find out what they are. Honestly, it really makes sense. We owe it to them.
Base it on the impervious area. And see where it falls.
So we're gonna have that information available to us next month.
I will try to get it, yes.
Okay.
So,
Do we charge town buildings? Like,
no,
Okay.
municipal buildings are taken out.
Oh, municipal, yeah, that's the
You're
one.
taxing yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So I don't know. I got captured three things.
do the town buildings pay sewer and water?
yeah,
Yes,
So,
because that goes
really?
to Fitchburg,
yeah,
the sewer,
Yeah.
right?
right. Or Leoniston.
In Leominster, yeah,
Yeah, Unitil
Okay.
is big.
yeah, and the water
That's a lot
is
of paving.
not town.
they pay utilities.
So what I got was, what's in the vacant category? And more specifically, what's in there
Yeah,
is it impervious area properties? Where does Arrive fall? And then, looking at adding tiers, do we wanna give him a cutoff of the square footage we're thinking about to see? Or just give us the breakdown of the 5 properties that are in tier 10
I
now?
think maybe the 9
And
and 10, cause it's, you don't wanna cripple them with work, because it's just
Right.
gonna build the bigger bill. The 16 and the 5, you gotta wonder who they are, honestly. When you get down to like the 8, 16 to 25,
I'm thinking just tier 10, the 5 properties in tier 10.
at least 10, I agree.
Yeah.
You wanted to expand that to 9,
I don't,
50 acres, that's, or 50 ERUs?
would we change it?
That's 200,000 square feet, that's big.
Well, but would we change it though?
Probably not, you're right, probably not.
I mean, we're only looking, the reason I would like to see the 5 in tier 10 and their impervious area. Is to set up tier 11. Where do we put that break point
Yeah,
for tier 11
Yeah,
and or 12,
yeah.
possibly 12? So knowing what they are and knowing how big they are, that's all. I don't think that's a big ask for them, right? Those are the only ones that I've got.
I think that sums up our questions pretty well.
so you got all the questions written down, okay?
I think so.
Cool. You wanna send them out to us before sending them, to make sure they got them done?
I can, you want?
Yeah, sure, we'll review before we ship it out, why not?
Sure.
So we're
No
March. So we have one more meeting before town meeting.
We don't need hard data for town meeting.
No.
No,
Okay, yeah.
but we need a
right.
scale.
Sure.
What do you need, Bill, for town meeting?
I don't know, I'll work on something.
So what was the next, the message that you sent out to us that is an attachment? If you wanna sell it, like, they're gonna wanna know what the heck you do with the money, right? He
Right,
says the water is tangible, the sewer is tangible.
Yeah.
But this is less tangible, so you really wanna communicate to them exactly what the services are that you're providing,
right.
and, Then you know,
Interesting.
you wanna throw the scary stuff you do in there, like recovering from these huge water events, rain events, gargantuan rain events. And you have to be like right on call, you have to be, wake up in the middle of the night, we got a bridge that washed up, Bill, save us.
You have plenty of pictures of flooded roads
There's a few.
from residents. Susan, right? Whalen? Yeah. It hasn't rained, has it?
Not much.
Didn't we get a little bit of rain last week? How much did we get last week? I can tell you the Mulpus is running like crazy and then Hickory Lake was booked up overnight. Spilling over the top of the dam, so it must have gotten some kind of good rain.
And then all the snow melt, but I asked,
Yeah.
Karen Menard,
Yeah.
and she says no problems. She said.
That's
her
awesome.
sump pump is running like crazy, but
That's
the water didn't come
awesome.
down her driveway.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Cause I know she commented that the fields at Marshall Park were like flooded. There's like a lake, the baseball field. So that's good.
yeah,
You not here getting calls is a good,
oh, yeah.
put that to the trick. You're the first article, I think, by the, well, maybe not. It's right now in the draft, it's first. I don't know if it's gonna stay first. Probably not.
Probably not.
Are we happy with where we are at the moment for our review?
Yeah, I think we can get
Yeah.
there. I think we can get to the
Yeah.
right numbers. Whether we can get the votes, I don't know, but
Did you want to go over what we're gonna discuss at the town meeting, next meeting?
At next meeting, yeah, so I'll try to put something
Not
together.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, next meeting, I think it'd be great if we had,
Yeah.
something to review.
um,
Speaking as a citizen, and where my citizens at, I wanna know what it's buying us. How much it's gonna cost per person and what your services are. Those critical things, core things. Yeah, we try to make it affordable and bringing the commercial properties in is really a source of revenue that kind of sort of has been untapped. You gotta admit, I mean, a lot of these businesses feeding it a gargantuan amount of water into our system and they're not paying for it. And so if we have to maintain these systems, it's gonna make sense that they need to contribute some fair share.
I hope. People don't ask, well, if I put in some sort of remediation, can I get a
Sure.
waiver,
Have we
you know,
talked
a
about that?
discount?
I think we discussed that and it basically says this level of complexity. I mean,
I don't wanna deal with that,
I
yeah.
mean, the
It's-
problem we have with it
Yeah.
is Walmart immediately says, oh, we're fully,
And we should take their petition seriously and respond.
Has it been maintained and is it working?
And prove to us that you
Right.
maintain it, prove to us you have a plan, prove to us you're actually executing that plan as laid out in your plan.
And
Yeah.
does it beat current standards?
Current standards
Yes.
are different from when it was built,
And then maybe
exactly.
have someone inspect it like,
That's so
like
much
Bill and,
overhead.
and Nick. Yeah,
I don't know, I think we have to just. I think as soon as we do that, we're gonna run into a problem, because like Walmart will say, well, we already mitigate all of our runoff.
Right.
So we're not gonna pay.
but it's still
anything.
going into the stormwater system in town.
Sure,
Okay, so you're right, so maybe we could. I agree that I feel it's fair if they do something if they have a plan and they do a good job mitigating it. And they clean out their own catch basins, then it's worthwhile giving them, cutting them some slack, just makes sense to me. It's just
And
how
I
I feel
don't
about it,
wanna open,
yeah, I don't know
That
about
option,
opening that
no.
box.
yeah. But I
it
think
gets
we
into a
decided,
lot of gray areas, a lot of overhead.
well,
Yeah,
That's
that's the
just
biggest
not
thing is
worth
the
it.
overhead is.
yeah, if you wanna just put that off to like maybe that, like year 3 on this. Maybe then we would revisit that, this tier structure and give people that option.
What do other towns do? I suppose we should look at that.
So it looks like some towns do some sort of like waiver and some towns don't.
Okay, I got no problem being in town that doesn't.
So it'd be at our discretion.
I think it would be good to get, like Nick presented a summary, his initial presentation of towns who currently have it. Like, we are not the first to do this.
Right. Are we
There are
the-
many,
the 10th to
many
do it? I mean,
more.
how many other towns do
More
this?
than
in
that.
So
Massachusetts? More than that?
Westboro says some property owners may be eligible to apply for a credit. Specific criteria must be met, including the existence of an on-site stormwater management system and documented maintenance of the system.
There you go.
And that makes it,
Yes, how do you enforce it? That's the problem.
Like my property runs down into a wetlands that's on my property, so like theoretically. I have a waiver regardless of how much space my house takes up, cause it's all slanted towards that.
To use the town ones.
Actually, me too, yeah. Mine all goes down to the lake.
I'm sorry.
No.
No,
I know. It's not all about your property, it's about the town. We're trying to maintain the roads for the town
Yeah.
residents when they go to Walmart and Hannaford to buy their groceries.
Yeah, I think we just, what? This is how it is,
Yeah.
at least to
At
start.
least they were established a few
Yes.
years and then we could start thinking about
Yes.
that.
yeah.
Cause,
Cause that's the planning board, they require stormwater BMPs, they require O and M manuals, right?
right,
But
right,
there's no enforcement, nobody's going out to check, but you
I know.
drive around. and
you have to, yeah,
They're all overgrown and whatever, and. Yeah,
it happened at Flat Hill.
that's just one.
What was the other correspondence you passed along to us? Something about establishing a committee to oversee it? And he suggested that we would actually fit the criteria to be that committee. Where did I see that?
Board two, develop advisor stakeholder committee.
Do we wanna be that committee or do we wanna hire or find someone that's willing to be that
Wait.
committee?
Does the task force only exist until the utility is
Yeah.
implemented? Okay, how long has this existed?
I don't know.
The stormwater task force currently.
Before
likely-
Bill, before.
I was trying to go back in agendas and I saw they went back to 2016, but then they just said stormwater task force when I opened them.
So this committee
I
be
couldn't
the
tell
one
if they
that
were real or not.
analyzes your annual budget you propose and we would assess it and say you can,
Becomes a commission at that point, like
Yeah.
sewer commission.
yeah. So we would give you permission to raise your rates or not.
Right,
Okay.
Who's, do you have staff that could handle the billing? I mean, I guess the billing goes on the property tax, right?
Yeah.
It's a
That's the
line on,
easiest way to do it. There were
Yeah,
two
okay.
options.
Even he was
then.
recommending
Yeah.
that because it's,
Yeah.
it's like $1 to send, 75 cents a stamp now, right? So you got thousands of these things. How much
Yes.
is that?
which is why I don't wanna
Every-
mail the town meeting warrant out anymore.
Yeah,
Do it. That's a lot of money.
right, so, well, part of the budget is an admin person to do the billing part of it,
yeah.
right? And then it's gotta get sent over to the treasurer's office to get onto the.
Yeah.
tax
Onto the
bills.
bill.
Yeah,
Yeah, having a $15.
the other question is, can Munis handle all?
Well, that was, I was gonna ask, yeah,
Should be able to, but.
It's almost like 10% of the utility bill is gonna be just correspondence with the
Overhead.
residents, which seems like a lot. Rather, he had that money for his street sweeper.
yeah, there's lots of, and then late fees, whatever.
Yeah, and I like, actually, he discussed last time that this rolls over in the tax, if they're in arrears. After so much time, it folds into the tax bill and it becomes a lien on the property.
Right, that's how sewer works.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That makes sense to me.
Mhm. Well, there's more here in section 4. I have to read. Okay. You know, next year's gonna be hard to bring this forward. Okay, stating the obvious, but
Well, it's our job to do this work and present it to the town. Right, if we do a good job and they like it, then we've done our job. If we do a good job, they don't like it, we've still done our job. It's really up to the town. If it's a good idea and it makes sense and we can sell it to people, then hey,
Yeah.
they'll buy it.
Oh, you'll talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we can, we'll do that and. Has anybody reviewed the minutes?
Or you,
Yeah.
yeah, they look
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Alright,
Motion to approve last month's minutes.
second.
motion and seconded, all in favor?
Oh, yeah.
Great. Yes, the public library stormwater improvements, I like the look of it. This last page is the kind of. What it'll look like.
Yeah, so I
That's the line.
talked with the library
Okay.
director and he's excited about it and, he actually wants to change a lot of the plants around, so I went back to Nick with that and shouldn't be a problem. I think usually when they design something, they put just a few plants, cause nobody maintains them, but the library, they're surrounded with plants, right? They're in gardens, so
Mhm.
they wanna do a bunch more, which I think would be good.
Who's paying for that?
It's gonna come out of my operational budget,
Extra plants?
yeah,
They're not that expensive.
yeah, the plants that'd be a small
I
part
think
of
is
the
it-
project,
If you're doing it for people to see it and notice it as part of
right?
those are kind of, I would go with better plants than those ones.
Yeah, yeah, they have. a
Yeah,
list.
I like this plan a lot better than the other one though,
Yeah,
much better. It's
right,
much more
and the
natural.
library, they'll promote it, right? They'll
So it
get
meets the
people to walk
requirement.
out back
Yeah,
and look at it. Yeah. So, yeah, they're super excited about it, which is good.
okay,
So we're supposed to do some soil testing next week. I'm trying to get the backhoe over there, dig a few holes and see what it looks like to make sure that this will actually work,
okay,
but it should.
and if it looks good,
Yeah, we'll
What's the
finalize the
timeline?
plans and then I'll try to get it done by June 30th.
oh,
I got,
you think you can, really?
yeah,
Okay.
the construction won't be too long.
No, but just lining people up,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, we have a contract with a small company in a town that does a lot of drainage work for us, and I
Okay.
already gave him the plan and, yeah, he said, no problem, we can do that.
cool,
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, so good news on that.
Yeah, are there any catch basins that are flowing into that, or is this all catching runoff from the road?
Well, we're adding a couple catch basins, right?
Okay.
But it's coming off the road, basically,
So is that what the runoff from the road is getting into these
yeah,
retention, these swales?
yeah.
Okay.
So I have a weird question, do solar fields on pervious land make it impervious?
It's tough because technically it's just rolling
Yeah,
back
it just
onto the
runs off. It
ground.
just runs
Yeah.
off. It gets to-
And then
Okay, so
recharge
it
it.
doesn't, okay,
Yeah,
So. We have a lot, I was just looking at the map, we have a lot of solar, I guess every town has a lot of solar, but there's a lot of solar. On the
here,
map, yeah,
I feel like there's not much.
Don't we have
Right.
2 like 4 megawatt systems in the town?
It's the big one hidden behind,
There's-
Settlers Green,
settlers.
settlers,
Yeah.
and there was one right next to
the
that
church.
church.
Yeah.
And then there was another one,
right up here.
yeah,
Cause we talked about putting them on the school parking lot too, that was one of the ideas, to help get revenue.
So like,
And they're talking about the town hall, the new town hall,
okay, you talk
Putting
about
them on that.
like shelters, then you can park under.
Yeah.
We
They have
passed
that.
the regulation or the,
yeah,
what we need for that on the planning board.
Yep.
I think they do that at the hospital in Gardner.
they
It's
do it a
really
lot
nice
of
system.
places,
Yeah,
the Children's Museum in Acton, REI,
that's
by
that,
Shoppers World.
the gold standard.
My office
They have a
does it.
beautiful one,
Yeah,
yeah.
the REIs are
Yeah.
too low, you kinda,
Right here in Hopkins.
you can have
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, but they didn't act, they must do it, that museum must be doing very well, because they have a gorgeous solar system that they set up for themselves.
Cause it looks like the new town hall plan has the canopy planned over the parking area.
Where's the new town hall? Fine. I'm kind of out of the loop. I've been working like 60 hours a week and trying to do conservation and trying
Adding
to
on to the
have a
Ritter
family.
on School
Okay.
Street. That's the
Okay.
proposal.
Adding on to the Ritter building. Okay,
Yeah, big addition.
wait, so is it gonna take over the parking lot and then knock down the original building or
No, no knocking down.
where will people park?
They're extending down School Street, the parking lot. I forget how many spaces. I don't know, there's a whole
Yeah.
plan.
Well, where
Okay.
the old school was, put a parking lot there.
I don't think they're going all the way up onto the hill, are they? I don't know. I
The
don't
building
know.
Itself, no, but you could park back there.
Yeah, it was something like 80 parking spaces, which seemed like old.
Yeah.
I saw the architectural drawings, but I can't like overlay it on the existing to see
Yeah.
exactly.
If I have the plans, I think I do.
Oh, you'll hear about it in May.
I can't remember where I saw, where I saved it.
It
Um,
just seems like there's no parking there already. So if you put a building there, there's not gonna be any more.
they're adding
parking.
parking.
Yeah.
I guess there's all that area back there that's kind of nothing.
But isn't that where they have the farmers markets?
The grass section in front of the Ritter
I don't
building,
think,
yeah.
maybe they're not gonna get rid of that.
They're not gonna get rid of that?
No,
Although, I don't know if we're
Some
gonna
of
keep
it.
it.
we didn't have a farmer's market
Yeah.
last summer, yeah.
Are they gonna renovate the Ritter building too at all, or just add to it?
Oh, no, it's a
Yeah,
huge,
Okay.
and the existing town hall is
Is-
gutting that. And becomes a meeting house, it's a $22 million
Okay,
project.
I gotta get up to speed on what's happening.
It's a lot. But putting solar panels on the school parking lot was something we suggested looking into. And I know it's come up other areas, so.
As far as our work here done for the night.
I think that's our
I
work.
think
for
that's
the-
it.
Are you done, Bill?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'll take a motion.
Motion to
Oh, he's
adjourn.
pulling up.
Second,
Yeah. Yeah.
Moved and seconded. Oh.
All in
oh my
favor?
glasses.
Aye,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, aye.
we can stop the recording.
Yeah.
I think it's the longest meeting ever.
So.
Unless we're really